Now I won't even introduce myself by my name anymore. I get nervous when I bump into someone I know in the grocery store who says my name. I'm worried about who's listening. I get nervous when I have to give my name for food orders. I'm always concerned of who's around me. I've lost my name and I've lost my reputation. I've lost my sense of security, all because a group of people starting with number 45 and his ally, Rudy Giuliani, decided to scapegoat me and my daughter, Shaye.
So just a little reminder there of what Ruby Freeman had to deal with in the wake of Rudy Giuliani using her as a scapegoat, and Shaye Moss as well, in their attempt to overturn the 2020 election. Their lives were made living hells. That continues to this day. And thankfully, there is a trial which, following the judgment already that he did defame them, will determine how much money he actually owes to them. And it could be a significant amount of money, an amount of money that he has previously referred to as the financial death penalty or the civil death penalty. Well, they are now being, questioned by Rudy Giuliani's lawyers, and from all accounts are doing a good job. And so we wanted to cover a little bit of what's been going on there throughout the week. So when Joe Sibley, lawyer, tried to argue the Trump campaign and far-right conspiracy sites were to blame for the threats against them, not just Rudy Giuliani, Moss had a reply ready and waiting saying Mr. Giuliani was just driving the bus and they were helping spread his lies. Basically saying that, sure, there were other people who picked it up, but he was the one who put it on the map, which is indisputably true. When questioned on the amount of the damages that should be levied against him, there was this exchange, Moss saying, by hitting someone in the pockets, especially someone whose whole career is about their pockets, that will leave an impression about the next person who tries to spew lies about the next election worker. Sibley said, why don't you have enough money to repair your reputation? To which she said, because your client is still lying on me and ruining my reputation further. How could you work in law if everyone is saying you're a horrible lawyer? Which is a great question for her. But imagine you have people who have been dodging death threats for years, and you say, how come you can't pay to counteract a national crusade against you by right-wing whack jobs? That is about as condescending as I can imagine a question from a lawyer. But I will turn now to a lawyer. Perhaps you can come up with something more condescending. Adrienne, what do you think about that?
Let's hope I'm not going to be as condescending as that. It really does show you that in terms of our justice system, that there is some semblance of justice out there by virtue of the fact that Rudy Giuliani will be held accountable. But his attempt and desire to escape actually having to pay them the amount that their pain and suffering is really worth really also shows you that these individuals do not want to be held accountable for the mass destruction and harm that they cause other people. And we see that with a la Alex Jones. But I can definitely tell you that being able to watch these women fight for what they're entitled to and hopefully be able to recover that is inspiring, because we've seen too many people who are part of the Trump administration cause absolute utter havoc and tear apart individual lives and not face any significant consequences. I just don't necessarily know if these women are ever going to be able to recover the money given how impoverished Giuliani is at this point.
I mean, he can't do more cameos. He can't get the money that way. He can't get paid what he's owed by Donald Trump. I'm going to end with this one statement. This is graphic 6 from Shaye Moss. I'm most scared of my son finding me and my mom hanging in front of our house or having to get news at school that I was killed. That's what I'm most afraid of. And bear in mind, despite the fact that everything that he said never had any basis to it, and it was now been said by a court to be defamation, there are still millions of Americans who believe all of those racist, insane comments. Their lives are still at risk and likely will be for the rest of their lives. So don't forget that as we proceed with this trial. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.